For most of the year, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has been the clear frontrunner for Game of the Year, but it looks like some competition has just arrived and more might be on the way. Astro Bot has debuted to glowing reviews, and recent previews for the Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom and Metaphor ReFantazio have those games looking really good, and if things hold up and these games stick the landing, it could make for a very interesting Game of the Year debate and battle at the end of the year. What's up, everyone? This is Justin, and welcome to Just Keep Playing. Please join me today as we talk about how this year's race for Game of the Year just got very interesting. For standalone games this year, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth had been at the top of the list with an overall Metacritic rating of 92, and it didn't seem like it was going to loosen its grip on that potential Game of the Year crown. But then Astro Bot came in like an RKO out of nowhere, like Randy Orton debuting to an absolutely stellar overall Metacritic rating of 94. Which instantly vaulted it into being one of the highest rated platformers of all time, coming in under three all-time great 3D Mario games, the original Little Big Planet and Super Mario Bros. 3. That is an incredible lineup of games to be mentioned with. Then we also got previews for Echoes of Wisdom and Metaphor ReFantazio. A lot of press, YouTubers, and other members of the media were able to get some substantial hands-on time with both of these games. And let me tell you, things are looking really good. Pretty much all of the hands-on reports were glowing. Both of these games were already two of the most anticipated games for the rest of this year, but with these recent previews, the hype meter just went to another level for both of these games. So what does this mean for the Game of the Year race at the end of the year? Let's look at these games and talk about it. Astro Bot just came in and dropped a bomb on the whole Game of the Year conversation with this 94 rating on Metacritic. I'm a huge fan of platformers. They're the reason I fell in love with gaming back in the day, thanks to the OG Super Mario Bros. And a number of my favorite games of all time are platformers, with games like Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario 64, and most recently with Super Mario Odyssey, just to name a few. So when you have reviewers saying things like Astro Bot is the best 3D platform in a decade, or the best 3D platformer I've played since Mario Galaxy 2, and the game is just raining in 10 out of 10s, you kind of have to sit up and pay attention. Mario Odyssey is my favorite 3D platformer over the last decade or so, and I absolutely love that game. So Astro Bot has a tall task ahead of it to topple that game for me. But it's definitely really cool to have another genre-defining classic 3D platformer to dive into on a modern system. 3D platformers have been sort of a dying breed over the last several years or so. They used to have so many great ones to choose from, with Mario, Crash, Spyro, and others. So it's really nice to see another one not named Mario, Sonic, or Kirby come through, put the industry on notice, and is now the clear frontrunner for Game of the Year. Is it better than Super Mario Odyssey? Well, I'm going to pick up a copy, play it for myself, and that might just make for a cool video. So we'll see what happens there. But will it win Game of the Year? Or will it be my Game of the Year? Well, that remains to be seen, because there's another game coming out really soon that is at the top of my most anticipated list, and a game that I think is being severely underrated when it comes to being in the Game of the Year conversation. And that game is The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Echoes is being described as a classic top-down 2D Zelda like A Link to the Past, but with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom's creativity and the return of classic dungeons that fans have been asking for. That's all I needed to hear. I absolutely love both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. They are two of the greatest games of all time in my book, and applying their creativity and freedom in the maybe less intimidating fashion sounds perfect. I also think that it's awesome that they're giving Zelda her own unique style of gameplay in her first starring role, and not just making her a palette swapped version of Link with her game playing like just another Link adventure. Gene Park from the Washington Post summed it up perfectly from his preview, saying Zelda isn't just leading her namesake franchise, but making a mark on it. The previews have made it clear that from what they've played, Echoes of Wisdom is definitely Game of the Year level game. The last top-down Zelda, the Link's Awakening remake, had an overall Metacritic of about an 87, and the last original top-down Zelda, A Link Between Worlds, had an overall Metacritic rating of a 91. And with this from Inverse's Trone Dowd, who states, Nintendo rarely misses when it comes to new entries in its beloved high fantasy series, The Legend of Zelda. And from the 45 minutes I got to play of the upcoming Echoes of Wisdom, it's safe to say Nintendo's about to do it again. Echoes of Wisdom cleverly combines the design philosophies of both of last year's Zelda games into what's likely to be one of the best and most ingenious titles of 2024. I'm feeling like Echoes of Wisdom may lean more towards the Link Between Worlds side of the scale when it comes to its rating, and for sure making it a contender for Game of the Year. And then there's Metaphor ReFantazio, a brand new RPG with an incredible pedigree behind it, coming from a team that includes many of the people that have worked on the Persona series. The last two mainline Persona entries, not including remakes or spin-offs, have both rated in the high 90s. If Metaphor can live up to the level of those games, which the previews are praising it as an evolution of the Persona series, it's definitely going to find itself in the Game of the Year conversation and as one of the year's best games. Its combination of action and turn-based combat is a welcome innovation to the genre, and the music is sounding incredible, and you can just see the years of passion and creativity flowing through this game. If the entire package comes together and lives up to its potential, it's going to make the Game of the Year conversation and debate a lot of fun. In addition to Astro Bot, Echoes of Wisdom, and Metaphor ReFantazio, there's still also games like Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake and Mario and Luigi Brothership. Dragon Quest III is looking absolutely beautiful. The HD 2D presentation of the game is the best that style has ever looked. It already looks better than Octopath Traveler 2, and the game is just looking like it's taking that HD 2D style to another level. I think that the HD 2D has been one of the best things to come from this most recent era. It's just a great way to appreciate the classic gaming style of the 8 and 16-bit eras. And Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake is looking like the perfect evolution of this style, with all of the lessons learned from both Octopath 1 and 2 and Live Alive being applied to a beloved classic made for today. And then Mario and Luigi Brothership, that's like my dark horse candidate. If it comes in on the high end of the Mario and Luigi games, the best in that series has rated in the 90s on Metacritic. So if it lives up to that, we could have another potential 90 rated Metacritic game on our hands. And Nintendo just dropped a recent preview for this game, and it just looked absolutely fantastic. We're in a Mario RPG renaissance, and this is looking like the best of the bunch. So what this all boils down to is that the rest of 2024 is looking really good, and is shaping up to be a fantastic end of the year with some really great games. But which game is going to be Game of the Year? What do you think? What's going to be your Game of the Year? What's your pick? Please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this type of content, please hit that like button and subscribe. And if you'd like to hear more of my thoughts on my most anticipated Game of the Year, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, check out the playlist right here. And until next time, I'll see you later. Have a good one. Peace.